Good morning, everyone. So, we are here. We are this morning activating the seventh chakra. And we indeed have built layer after layer of understanding so that we can reach the seventh chakra which is in a way a twist in the drama. It's like, imagine that you watched a certain movie, but a really sophisticated one, not the ones that yes, eventually this will be revealed and we are supposedly going to be shocked, and these bad movies that everyone knows the twist. But there are those movies that lead you for 1.5 hours, for 2 hours, and you are like in the hands of the director, the writer, and the actors, and you completely trust the line of the drama. And then suddenly, near the end, there is such a shift, such a twist that it leaves you with an open mouth. So then when the subtitles, is this how it is called, yeah? That are running at the end. Subtitles? No, not subtitles, there is another word. Never mind. Subtitles are running at the end, you sit like, and then you look at your companion, and then you look again, and it's like for some time, you realize that you were completely tricked. And because you were taking a certain rational, logical pattern that you already expect from so many movies and so many books, and you think you are a trained and sophisticated watcher, viewer, and then it gives you such a punch in the face that you remain dazed and confused. So this is basically the seventh chakra. You wouldn't expect me to start like this, right? Good morning. So and even though I was mentioning the twist already throughout the days, it doesn't mean that it's not worth a full talk, a full meditation. Now as you're already very well used to, I'm every morning distinguishing between two. So this morning we will let's just repeat the distinctions. It's very nice. So we had like an inner self experience and outer self experience in the first chakra. We had the world of joy and the world of thought in the second chakra. We had being and becoming in the two states of being and becoming in the third chakra. I prepared my homework this morning. We had the world of differences and the world of oneness in the heart. We had self-expression and self-expression in the throat. And we had yesterday the world of opposites and the world of wholeness. And today we will speak about, again, two, we cannot call them states, we can call them two modes of being. One is experience, and the other is identity. Or in other words, the level in which we are experiencing spiritual experiences, silence, bliss, beauty, love, harmony, everything that we discussed along the chakras, and when we become these things that we experience. These are very different modes of being. I don't have a good word because you will understand why I'm struggling with this one. Now, to understand, to start this distinction, we will take a look. There was one quote. There is it's surely one of my favorite quotes of all times, and it was said by a great Jewish rabbi. It's ridiculous to say Jewish rabbi. It's like a Christian priest. Yes. So by a Jewish rabbi, and he lived in the 19th century, and his name was I don't remember his full name exactly. So, but he used to be called the Rabbi from Kosk, which is I think a town in Poland. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it well, but I'm translating it from Hebrew now. So please forgive me. And he said it was really a magnificent, enlightened being. That actually 20 years of his life he spent in his room, never leaving the room. This was he was so blissed out with the scriptures and with his meditation that he just didn't find it interesting to come out. So sometimes we have this type of enlightened beings. So anyway, he said, we are not human beings who experience the divine, but rather souls who experience the human experience. If you only took this sentence with you from this retreat and meditated on it for the next 20, 30 years, I can guarantee this one is enough. There are some sentences that are like complete. If you take them, meditate on them, and become them, which is the seventh chakra, you have it. You have the entire understanding the entire also twist encapsulated in one perfect sentence.
Can you repeat it, please?
Of course, yes. We are not human beings who experience the divine. Rather, we are souls who experience the human experience. This sounds like, if we don't listen to it very carefully, we don't grasp the twist. Because many people say, yes, yes, we are souls and so on. We are all souls, we are the sparkling divine souls and so on. But please take a deep look into this statement. In this, it says, our regular experience is that we are human beings. We experience from our humanness divinity. This is such a deep conditioning that it's like the deepest conditioning of the human mind, because it always experiences everything that is spiritual, everything that is beyond and so on, as somebody, some box, human box, that is capable of experiencing, that gets in touch with something that is great, that is grand, that is divine, and so on. And this is where we are stuck in what I call experience. This is the first one. And then he says, whatever you are experiencing is actually what you are. So there has to be a total shift, a total move to the other side. You see? Because we're always experiencing divinity here. We are receiving it, we are embraced by it, we surrender to it, we give ourselves to it. We even simpler things, we experience silence. We say, I felt a very deep silence, feeling my being. You see? We tend to have experiences, we make spirituality into experiences. Spirituality is objects. We experience peace. Oh, I'm so peaceful today. Meaning I am experiencing peace at the moment. Or yesterday I experienced that I am a soul. So it's like whatever we say basically gives away the fact that our fundamental identity doesn't change. Because it still all happens from the center of experience that doesn't break. And the seventh chakra tells us the real spiritual shift is not about another experience. You can experience endless. It's like you can experience for 10 years now bliss. Okay? 10 years, like every day. Oh, it's so boring. 24 hours a day, bliss. Oh, bliss, 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 bliss. I know that sometimes when we suffer, we think that being in bliss for 24 hours a day is wonderful. Just like when we are extremely poor, we think that winning the lottery and getting like 20 million euros will make us, will solve all of our problems. But I know from personal experience, for knowing some people who had that well, this didn't really work. It's not about the money, although it's like to a certain degree we don't believe it. we still think it's extremely helpful. So, we think being in bliss 24 hours a day, that would be great. But actually, first of all, you would get bored because it's an experience, and any experience is tiresome. I remember that even when I entered like the deepest states of consciousness, eventually at a certain point I just got tired. It was like, okay, enough. I want some ordinary consciousness. Can I have it for some time? Because it's just exhausting for the nervous system. It's not healthy to be in bliss all the time. So we need to have also some simpler modes of the mind, of the body. Not everything like all the time in high voltage. So, even if we experience bliss for 10 years, essentially this will not change us. And this is something that is so shocking to understand, that experience will not change us. This is basically what the seventh chakra tells us. Something very different needs to take place. What needs to break down, what needs to collapse, to really come apart is our identity. Only when the identity that sits at the center of experience breaks, melts away, this is something that changes us. You see, because it's quite obvious, right? Experience cannot change us because it's something we experience. If I experience something, it's like, I can experience something, but me, I'm still the same. More or less. I only have a new experience, like I'm more rich, maybe I'm wiser, maybe my eyes got opened, maybe my life will change, but I will not change, you see? My fundamental experience will remain. So this is why the rabbi from Kosk, he challenges us actually very radically. He tells us your problem is very different from what you think. Your problem is that you still think you are a human being. You are experiencing everything from below. And it's like, to being a human being, aspiring to reach the seventh chakra, for example, like looking from the first chakra. Oh, I want to go up, up, up. It's like it's all about the yearning, the longing. It's like I want to transcend myself. I want to overcome myself. I want to reach the heights. I want to reach the heavens. It's like whatever is there is essentially the experience of smallness in struggle. And then starts the process of meditation, the process of overcoming, fighting against myself, trying to reach silence, to experience moments of silence. But why? It's because I experience myself as a human being that struggles to capture a spark of divinity. This is where we get this whole wish for merging, for disappearing into something that is greater, and so on and so on. We long for divinity, but our longing is in the wrong direction, and then what happens is that whatever will happen to us, whatever divinity will show up, it will be an experience, and it will go away. And this is what we don't understand. It's like this is our major problem in spirituality. And this is the thing, even if God himself would take a form right now, take a, I don't know, a divine spaceship, a heavenly spaceship, like, and then land here on the grass and say, hello, I'm here. Eventually, we will be maybe shocked, we will bow down, we will be very excited, we will dance around him, I don't know what, ask him all the questions that we always wanted to ask, and then he would say, okay, my wife is waiting for dinner, I'm sorry, I need to go now. And then he will take again the universal mother. And then he will go again in his spaceship, and we'll say, wow, we saw God, wow, I can't believe we saw God, we saw God, we saw God. Okay, what's now? What's on TV today? This is, by the way, the story in the Bible, in the Old Testament. When Moses goes, I don't know if you know the story. Do you know the story of Moses? He on the Mount of Sinai. He tells the Israeli people, okay, look, I'm now going to speak to God. He's waiting for me on the top of the mountain. I'm going to give you his 10 commandments. And it's not like, this is all followed by many special effects. It's not like he just tells them. Things are going all over, miracles, and everything is shocking and amazing, and everyone is bowing down and excited and feels that God is with them and so on. So he tells them, okay, so you wait here. Then he goes up, and they are all waiting for him and so on. Then he has his meeting with God, and he comes with the 10 commandments prepared. He is completely illuminated. He was touched by, surely his identity was transformed completely. He was no longer a human. He was something else. So he's coming down with the 10 commandments. And then what he sees? The Israeli people dancing around a golden calf. You know a golden calf? It's like this. They made a certain statue, pagan statue, worshipping it now as their god. Immediately returning to their old habits, and he looks at them. It's like I just went up there. You saw God. You saw his presence. And then Moses becomes so sad that he takes the 10 commandments and he simply breaks them, smashes them. After that, he comes back again and so on, and everything is well. But but we can forget even a meeting with God. And that's why people can also be with great gurus, really great gurus like Ramana Maharshi or Ananda Moima, and they will not, or Jesus, and they didn't change fundamentally. They even saw Jesus in his majesty, and after that returned to their confusion, and to this connection. So the seventh chakra is all about identity. It goes to the core of our experience of self. It tells us, you are not who you think you are. You are completely misguided, completely lack the right education. You always look from below up. You think you need to take the process up. So you need to break at the core, at the core of your identity, everything that you think you are. And then there is no longer the question of experience, because what really matters in spirituality is not the experience, but only the experiencer. What the experiencer is. So it doesn't matter if you experience bliss. As long as you're human beings experiencing bliss, we still didn't get the secret. We are a spirit experiencing bliss. Now, the seventh chakra is the end of the end. This is the shattering of our psychological perception of ourselves. And this is very strong, the way, the degree to which we experience ourselves through psychology, through the life story of a human being, influenced, conditioned, shaped, having traumas, experiences, our desires, our wills, and so on, and we keep on working on this, forgive me for saying that, this miserable psychological being that is forever incomplete, that is doomed to craving, to longing, to desire. What else can he do? It's like, what else can he do? To depression, to sometimes moments of elevation. But we are not psychological beings. Everything we have gathered around our consciousness is just dust. All the stories we weave, all the identifications we take, everything is just dust covering who we are, not blocking us from experiencing. Because experience is not so important only experience is more like an echo. That's a reminder that is meant to tell us, hey, look, can you see? Can you see? But we don't see, so experience says, and it goes. But, we want to experience bliss, heights, light, and so on, we can take drugs. There are drugs that for sure can produce the right chemical balance or imbalance, the right chemical excess and so on, or ratio that will make us experience amazing experience, unbelievable experiences. I've seen so many people experiencing so many things on drugs. Some people even told me something that in a way is humorous, that they told me, I'm also enlightened. And they say, my awakening happened while I took LSD. Oh, really? Yes. I heard there were many such awakenings in the history of mankind with LSD and ayahuasca and hallucinogenic mushrooms. Not that drugs essentially didn't manage to aid humanity in opening the doors of perception, but certainly no drug can awaken. It is impossible. Because awakening takes place at the root of identity, at the core of identity. It never happens in the periphery, the experience. Even if you have like the most intense experience, shocking, amazing. 3 months I was crying, laughing, I was feeling Kundalini arousal, feeling this, that, explosion, angels, entities, Archangel Raphael touching me, and then light, and then boom, and then bam, and then eventually you are left with only one thing, yourself. And as long as yourself doesn't break and doesn't shatter into pieces, it will always be the center of experience. And all experience will just be an enhancement of yourself. Yourself now in bliss. Before you were in suffering, now you're in bliss. Good. Okay. Replacing one dream with another. No, it's okay, she's leaving. Don't worry. I can see from here. I have a better view. There is only one important question, and we started the retreat with that. And now it is time to deeply look into it. Who am I? Any other question is basically just in terms of spiritual enlightenment, is just meaningless. You can ask what is the meaning of life, what is love, what is bliss, how can I experience this, how can I open up to other people. You can do whatever you want. This belongs to the realm of psychology, of us as human beings improving as human beings, maybe being more in communion with the divine. But the illusion that we are human beings is the core of spiritual quest. So the question, who am I, is the destroyer of the experiencer. Why? Because rather than busying myself with some understanding, some experience, some wonderful thing, even silence, I'm looking back into myself with this question. It's like, this question is like a machine gun. It just destroys all of the false identifications. All the false stories. That preserve my sense of self-existence. Why? Why is it so necessary? It is because the rabbi from Kursk was very right. We are not from here. Our origin is not planet Earth. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you now that your origin is from Andromeda, that we came in spaceship by our alien friends that are now watching us from afar. Don't worry. We came from God's light, and at the core of our identity, the deepest core of our identity, we are not different from that which we call God. At the core of our identity, we cannot even differentiate it. It's impossible, basically. And think how much courage a rabbi needs to, and how much enlightenment he needs to have in order to reverse this in this way, because it's like, of course, because he was cautious, he said still souls, but his first sentence, the first part was, we are not human beings who experience divinity. It's only because of the Jewish restrictions that he didn't say that we are rather divinity experiencing the human experience. So it's only a matter of terminology, but this is what he meant. That all of the supreme spiritual qualities and states that we experience are actually us. So then there is this is the twist in the drama. It's like we think we are experiencing silence, but we are silence experiencing a human being in search. All throughout our journey, all along our journey, beneath that, underlying that, the answer is already here, experiencing us. It's we are experiencing us in the search, looking, waiting, and this is a great cosmic joke, because you are accompanying yourself very compassionately, like to realize that that all along you were that which you were looking for, and longing, and praying, and experiencing, and touching. Then it's like at the end, at the 7th chakra, you are waiting. Oh, good that you're finally here. I was waiting for you for quite some past lives. So, here you are. Nothing happened. Really. The search is not over because the seeker was an illusion. So, good morning, everyone. Wake up. Now you're here, at least not imagining that you are going through a process of incompleteness, aspiring, dreaming, fantasizing about becoming complete one day. And this is the highest message. God is you, just without all the limitations and identifications, without dust. Remove the dust, that's it. The one that you are looking to, wishing to merge with, is actually behind your eyes. But for that, we need to thoroughly break all limitations. And what are the limitations? Are the limitations of experience, that we don't have enough experience, we don't have strong enough experience? No. If the limitations are that we are wrongly imagining ourselves in a position in which we are not. It's not, the limitation is the limitation of identity, not experience. So there is only one spiritual practice, and there's only one spiritual focus that is real. Everything else is just psychology, even if we call it spirituality. It is because it is still the human psyche overcoming, struggling, finding, realizing. So it's still the old known me. Maybe saying, I'm also a soul. I have a connection with my higher self. Or I'm like letting my higher self go move through my throat or something. I'm all that, I'm channeling it. I'm letting it enter. My higher self is and so on. You get it. There is no higher self as object. The higher self is subject. And our habit is to objectify everything. Everything is outside. I am the higher self. I am the highest self. Is the road to myself very far? Not at all. Too close. only walled by some self-ideas, a certain self-image that keeps me apart from myself. It is not silence and peace that will quench our thirst. Silence and peace, they are good remedies for the wounded psyche. And this is, as such, it is good. It only keeps us in a dream. So now the dream is that we are peaceful. I worked once with someone for 3 years I think. She started her journey as completely tormented and completely neurotic. We worked in private sessions, and she told me, I want to get enlightened, I want all the way. But eventually, after we removed one layer after another of mental and emotional obstruction, she told me, that's it. I'm feeling complete peace. It's like everything is I don't have any problem. It's like everything is good. So she said, now my journey is over. And this is okay. But this is not the seventh chakra, and not what it tells us. It has nothing to do with the majesty of our being, with the majesty of our true identity. Because peace and silence are like grains for birds. They are not even food, the real food for our true being. Silence is our furthest echo. We are everything. We ourselves are the whole. There is nothing apart from us. Because there can be no other. This universe is one person's universe. It is exclusive. It has no room for another. Yes, it enjoys diversity, but it doesn't accept identities. So, and that is why whatever identity we have, that we feel we are, is something that we experience. It is very different. The whole human journey is our experience. And this is the twist. It's like when you realize, oh my God, oh my God. I wasn't the seeker. I wasn't that incomplete being all along. Because the incomplete being, it can never turn into complete being. It doesn't make sense. It can only melt away, woken up from. So I ask, who am I? Our consciousness has just trained itself to identify with a certain story. We have just, let's say, entered too much our experience. We have become too engrossed in our experience. It's like we are like a viewer in a cinema, looking so intently at the movie that eventually the viewer forgets that he sits actually on a chair, looking at the screen. You know, when we sometimes watch a movie too intensely, too passionately, we are there. We are there with the hero and with his anguish, and we cry intensely, and it's like his drama is our drama, and we cannot breathe, and so on and so on. But eventually the movie is gone, finished, and there we are, sitting on the chair, nothing happened. Just a drama that we experienced. Our entire life is like this. Is a movie we are watching. I'm watching a pretty boring movie for already 40 years. Luckily, I can also step aside from watching the movie. I can turn it off when I don't feel like watching it. And not only in deep sleep. This is called samadhi. Samadhi is when you just turn off the movie, you say, enough. And then you just return. You take your being and you gather it into yourself, and that's it. And you fold them together, and you watch nothing. You are just being yourself. But sometimes I'm watching this movie. Shai, a teacher, writing books, teaching, meeting these people, the other people. This age, these memories. At your deepest core, even your time of death, where you will be just watching a movie. Because what we are cannot die. Essentially, what we are was not born. So on the screen of our consciousness, we watch not only thoughts and feelings and emotions, because this is our mistake. We keep struggling with thoughts, emotions, and feelings that are the result of a very different disease. Trying to remove this thought, this emotion, that emotion, we don't understand. It's like it's endless, this thing. It keeps creating branches, leaves, fruits. It will not rest. We need to understand that what we're watching on the screen is everything. And then we need to ask ourselves, if everything, this whole identity, the whole story, is a movie that I watch, who am I? Who is the watcher? What watches all along? And here is the most embarrassing thing. If we really, 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 really are in the now, we have no idea who we are. We must use memory. We must use past. Otherwise, there is no self in the now. There cannot be a self. Not a self, again, not a self that we know, that we carry like a burden every single moment, and becomes heavier and heavier as the years go by, until it becomes, the self packed with memories, made of memories. That is the self of old age. Then death approaches, and that's like, and all our memory packed self, so well created, so carefully created, that's and that's it. Like a soap balloon, soap bubble. That's it. All our story is like, death just gives a look like, huh? Ah, and that's it. This is our life story that we cultivate so intensely, our passions, desires, wills and frustrations and patterns and overcoming and love and hate. Whoa, so much fuss around one soap bubble. A soap bubble has the tendency to look like very marvelous for a second. But it is also transparent. It is see-through. This is true. Also when it comes to the memory-based self. As we are sitting here, I see through you the self, the true self. Because the whole story, I don't buy it. Because how can I buy it if I don't buy my own story? So it's all so transparent. It's like a I have enough respect to work with the illusion a little bit, but I never believe it. The turning point of my own awakening, when it took place at the age of 23, was when I simply looked at myself for 1 second without memory. I simply looked at myself in the now. And then the whole dream exploded, because it was like a soap bubble. It was like something that only memory preserved, gluing every piece of experience until you get like a string that you call yourself. You put as a necklace, you show everyone, you see? See? Memories. Because I had experiences, when I connected them, look, I have a self now. A new ultimate experience, which I call the experiencer. Show me your necklace. Oh, it is lovely. What, you are struggling with self-love? Yes, me too. Because how can we love a self that doesn't exist? It's very hard to fall in love with a soap bubble. It's like you try to embrace it, you know what happens. This fake being is not lovable because it's just not substantial. Ask yourself, and this is your question for today, if I am not my memories, if I look at myself not through the memory, who am I? Experiences don't create a self. They only create impressions. But identification with impressions creates a self. This is where when we honestly look into ourselves with this question, the glue that connected all experiences melts away, and everything just, all the beads in the string, they just break apart. Then they are just memories, but without a self. For your self-work today, I want you to all day long be with this question. As much as possible. And please, when you are writing letters, deal with this question directly. Deal with your understanding, exploration, also limitation, where it doesn't, you don't get it. It's also good. And realize how, whenever you're asking this question, to really answer it, to give answers, you must use memory all the time. You always need to look a moment before. Because here and now, there is no really a drop separate from the ocean. Here and now there is only the ocean of consciousness. Experiencing drops, waves. So this is the twist of the seventh chakra. You think you're traveling all up there, then you're realizing that deep down you are all along looking at yourself from up there. A pure and free spirit. Without a second. Break this human form like a glass. And be who you are.